Hello, beautiful day out here. So I figured I'd come here and do a quick video about something that's very important, and that is, can two people with two different relationship histories work? This is the question. The answer is yes. But the success doesn't depend on the past. It depends on the awareness, the communication, and a willingness to grow together. So different histories basically create different fears. So the long-term relationship person, they fear loss, they fear abandonment, and they fear wasting years again. While the short-term relationship person feels trapped, feels controlled, and feels like they're losing their freedom. So here's the thing, nothing is wrong with that. They're just protecting their old wounds. So the key question here isn't, can it work? The real question right here is, are both people willing to learn a new way to love each other? If one person is growing and the other person becomes defensive, it becomes painful. If both grow together, it will become powerful. So here's some advice that I strongly recommend. What you need to say to each other is, what scares you and what does love look like to you? And don't punish each other for your past relationships, because you're not dating their ex and they're not dating your ex. Make sure you also set clear boundaries and expectations. You have to have it, because freedom and commitment can exist together, but only when they are spoken out loud and there's trust that's being built around it. So the person in a short-term relationship, they often feel that they can do what they want, when they want, and how they want it to do it, because they're used to their freedom and they don't understand how it affects their partner. So you just have to watch actions and not promises. You have to, because consistency is the real proof of love here. If one person continues to cross the boundaries without respecting how it made the other person feel, that can cause long-term relationships to become short-term. So the biggest issue sometimes is one person loving deeper than the other person is ready to receive. And love only works when it's mutual, ladies and gentlemen. Not perfect, but when it's mutual. So long-term people, once again, they fear of abandonment. They fear of moving, or they have a fear of moving too fast toward a commitment. They're overgiven to feel secure. And it's very difficult for them to trust again. People from short-term relationships avoid commitment when things get tough. They keep emotional walls up so they can stay safe. They're running at the first conflict instead of working through that conflict. And they're wanting the benefits of love without the responsibility, because they never had the responsibility of love. Keep that in mind. They're wanting the benefits of love without responsibility. And they're very inconsistent. They're hot and they're cold behavior that creates anxiety in their other partner, creates conflicts and chaos, makes the other person feel less valued, not important, and basically puts the long-term relationship partner back in a mode of abandonment. And you can't do that, because when another person feels abandoned, they start to close down. When the short-term person feels like they don't have their freedom and that they're losing themselves, they're going to shut themselves down. So it's very important to work with each other to get through that, because if you can get through that, then you have a very powerful couple on your hand here. So the relationships gets destroyed when one person is chasing the security and the other person is avoiding closeness. This creates what's called a pursuer versus a runner. And that love right there turns into exhaustion. So to sum it up, relationships don't fail because of the past. It fails when two unhealed fears, keep that in mind, two unhealed fears start fighting each other instead of healing each other. There needs to be two healers in this type of dynamic relationship. One cannot try to heal one and not allow the other to heal the other. They're two different types of fears. If you're a short-term relationship person and the other's a long-term relationship person, and you want a long-term relationship together, then it's very important to discuss your fears that you have. your fears of being a long-term relationship person and your fear of being a short-term relationship person. Set all your boundaries and expectations. Make sure you understand each other clearly. And the most important thing is don't run. Don't run. When there's an argument, when there's a dispute, or when there's something that you're not used to because you're in a short-term relationship's mental mindset, you can't run, because that's now going to show the other person you're abandoning them. And that's where problems get worse. So when there is a conflict, you work that conflict out. By disappearing and by vanishing and not handling the situation is when that possibly a beautiful long-term lasting relationship is destroyed. I'm going to enjoy the sunshine out here. I'm grounding, I'm releasing, I'm feeling good, and I look forward to hearing any comments. I hope everybody has a great day.